So, I had this pretty awkward confrontation with the girl next door yesterday. So, let me give some background on this situation. So, about a month and a half ago, this new girl moved in next door because the girl that originally was living there moved out for some reason. Anyways, so we got this new girl, and she told my roommate Emily that she had a marijuana card and that she smoked it in the dorm. Firstly, the campus that I'm at doesn't allow smoking of marijuana on campus, so, you know, the medical marijuana card trick thing, doesn't work with them. Also, you're not allowed to do smoking of any kind in the dorm. But there is a forest about 10 feet that way for marijuana smokers, and then there's a gazebo about 10 feet that way for regular smokers. And you know, the girls on my floor generally follow that rule for the smoking thing, except for the girl next door. So about, a month ago, I come back from an English class and I open the door, and the smell was terrible. It was just awful. Anyways, so quick little thing. I don't care if you smoke, do drugs, drink, whatever. I honestly don't care. But when I can smell it, when I can smell the marijuana in my dorm room, we're going to have a problem. So, anyways, I come back from English class, you know, my roommate was wherever, and she comes back, and after a while, the smell got so bad that we could smell it in our room. And everything was closed, and we could still smell it. It was really bad. And since then, it has gotten progressively worse. The smoking happens more often, the smell is stronger, and apparently according from the girl down the hall, the cheaper the marijuana, the worse it smells. If you have, higher end marijuana, it doesn't smell as bad, but if you have, the crappier stuff, it smells horrible. So apparently she has really crappy stuff. According to her, I don't know if that's true or not. Anyways, so after a while, I started calling housing and being like, hey, you know, this person is smoking, blah, blah, blah. You know, I would tell people this and they'd be like, oh, you're such a snitch. Why are you telling on them? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, the smell is bad, but that's not the thing that got me. So it was more of the health issue. So me and my roommate take medications for some medical problems that I'm not going to go into. And so the meds that we take and the after high or secondary high or whatever that you get from the smoke of the marijuana or whatever, those two don't make a good combination, basically. Bad things would happen if it got bad enough. And I was getting headaches, and Emily was getting headaches, and it was just getting really bad. So anyways, a few nights ago, it was really bad, and I called housing, and they asked for the room number that it was coming from. So I told them, and they sent this guy up, and the guy and the girl next door had about a 20-minute conversation about, you know, the consequences or whatever. I really don't know. So, back to the story. So, Emily and I were walking back from the polling area place because I voted yesterday, and the girl from next door, I don't even know her name, was walking away, and she saw us. She turned around and she walked to us, and she stopped us. Now, before I go on, I may tell myself that I am a confident person. You know, I will stand up for people. You know, if something is happening, I will go intervene. And on the internet, I'm just a sassy bitch. But when it comes to someone talking to me about something like this, I just freeze up. So she comes up to us and she's like, are you the girls that called on me? And I'm just standing there, I'm like, what? Oh God, dear Lord, what is happening? And she's like, you know, you could have just told me to stop and I would have stopped, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. And she's like, you know, I have the 551 marijuana card, and in my head, I didn't say this in my head, I'm like, well, the school doesn't allow it. I'm not saying, hey, you know, I'm not calling it out. So yeah, you know, being a snitch is not the best thing, but it's health issues. I don't want to die, okay? I don't. I'd like to live my life. Anyways, and so she's like, do you know how hard it is to get in here? And I was like, what? Because I went to, you know, a really, really good high school. I didn't have the best grades, and I still got into this school. I have two friends who had worse grades than I did, and they got into this school. So it's not very hard, because I go to a CSU, which is the level under a University of California thing, where it's like the second star or whatever. And she's like, you know, I don't appreciate having my academic career on the line. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that, you know, you can't go 10 feet to the forest to smoke. That's not my problem. You know, you did it time and time again. Like, you know, the first couple of times I let it slide, but it just got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So then it was then that I started calling housing. And she's like, yelling at us or whatever. She's like, you could have just told me to stop. And Emily and I just kind of looked at each other like, yeah, okay, bye. Oh my god, it was so awkward. I was just like, what? Like, there's other problems that we have with her that I'm not going to go on about, but it was so awkward. Oh my god. Like, I've had a lot of awkward things happen to me, but that was one of the worst. Like, I was just standing there like, oh dear Lord. Like, usually, you know, when that happens, like, you have your friends there. Well, all of my friends are elsewhere. Like, my best friend, two of my best friends, one's in Portland, the other one is in Washington. Like, I can't use them as backup, so I was just standing there like, oh dear Lord. So awkward. And I called my dad, and I told him, and he's like, yeah, it was, you did the right thing calling housing, because even if you had talked to her, like, it never would have happened. So, and if she hadn't told my roommate that she smoked the marijuana in the dorm, I wouldn't have known it was her. I would have suspected it was someone else, and then it would have kept going on longer until we figured out it was her. But because she told everybody, we knew it was her. Technically, so it's like, well, it's your fault for telling everybody. Because, yeah, oh god, it was just so awkward. So, if you guys have any awkward conversations or situations that have happened to you, leave them in the comment section below, or make a response video if that suits your fancy, and we can all bask in our awkwardness. Yeah, so I will see you all soon. Bye! I have to go right now. I didn't write anything yesterday because I got distracted by election crap. Ugh.